Listening to Ragebreed Against Bullying on Ragebreed Entertainment Hub. Hi there and welcome to Ragebreed Against Bullying. Now, a while back, you guys had asked some questions in relation to a situation involving me and JP, and a few of you have asked a few questions in relation to the triangle that he has kind of put me in. And, this has happened for quite some years, so this is kind of not new to me. This is something that he has done because of his avoidant personality, and it stems from fear. We had a talk about it at a Death Angel gig. We both went to Death Angel and we discussed how he handles relationships, and basically what it is, he gets with girls he's not bothered about because it's easier when they leave. He thinks that I would leave him in a year. He believes that I'm like an electric fence. If you get too close, you get burned. And so an avoidant keeps you at a distance while loving you and getting with casual bonds. Okay. He may lie to them about me, but he keeps me hidden. So what's been happening has been psychologically damaging for me because of these issues he has with fear. It has created a lot of reactions within him, so fight or flight, but also stonewalling, so not answering me and things like that. But then also there's other things like he pushes me away, and then when I go away he wants me back, and then it's like a push and pull dynamic. I fell for him in a big way, so I kept forgiving him, and by doing that I enabled this kind of abusive treatment, which I'm very angry at myself with, because I lost years of my life because of this man, because he kept telling me he loved me, so I believed him, and I felt like that eventually he would gain trust with me so we can date each other again and see each other and be with each other, but that just never happened. And I wasted years and years and years of my life. And what he tends to do is have one face for other people. So he will pretend that he hates me and he doesn't want me because he wants to behave single, while also having access to me behind closed doors. And Nottingham Victim Care, when I spoke to them regarding the situation, because we didn't know whether it was connected with the hater stuff, they basically confirmed that it was an online relationship, and he communicates through song lyrics and things like that, because he's very clever. He won't do things face to face, though I do have him accepting gifts and him and also that there are I know from an MSN message he sent me that he sends songs to girls that he likes, and he tells them to read the lyrics like he did with me, and that's how he would communicate, because it's too hard to be direct, because an avoidant doesn't want any kind of form of vulnerability. So what he does is he will send you a song or something and tell you to read the lyrics. So that's what was happening. And he doesn't like to admit that he has feelings, and so it's like there were times when he got drunk where he'd be like, how I feel, or because he didn't tell me that he would be with me properly, he kept pushing me away. I had to then make a decision because he was getting with all my friends, and it was soul destroying. It was absolutely soul destroying because my friends knew that I was in love with him. And to have your best friends, the closest people to you, to do, to get with a man who has such little self-respect for himself and me, and to humiliate me the way that he did with multiple friends in Leicester. So when people ask me, why do so many, Leicester crowd, and it's because he made up a fantasy about who I was, so everyone would follow him, and I would be looked at as, someone weird or something, but he was leading me on behind closed doors. So basically, it was basically done to self-preserve his reputation. And mine, he did everything he could to make people hate me, choose sides and things like that. Because if he couldn't have me, no one else could. So if I tried to move on, he would sabotage that. He would try to sabotage my friendship. So whenever I had new friends, an example of that was, I made some new friends that were Mel and Blue. They were a couple. And he tried it on with Mel, got with Mel. Those Blue and her split up. So he would come into my social groups even when I tried to sort of move forward and insert himself in that situation where my heart would get broken while he got with these girls. But then in private he would say, I don't care about Mel. And that was my life. It would be one friend after another where he would have one face to them, and in private he would be telling me how he felt, or indirectly telling me how he felt, and it got to the point whereby it was very, very hard for me because my heart was still with him, but I was neglected of a real relationship. So I didn't have a man to, date or like settle down with or help me with finances and things like that. I had to become, someone who's independent of a man, but I couldn't really do anything with anyone because, I didn't want him to get hurt, but then at the same time he was hurting me, so that there was like a double standard. He expected loyalty from me while he got with other women, and that's the misogynistic part of JP, because of his vulnerability issues, and it's wrong, and it is disgusting how I've been treated. But I was trying to help him through that over the last few years. So I did stop dating. In fact, I would say it's probably been over 5 years potentially. Like physically dating somebody, properly. We did break up a couple of times. And, I did get to a point where I was seriously thinking, I'm not getting a relationship that I want from him, and I'm being hidden, and he's gaslighting me and other people into making out like there's nothing and I'm the weird one and everything. And I just got it. It's soul destroying when someone you love treats you this way. It's absolutely soul destroying. And people don't realise how much of this actually goes on to a lot of women, but even a lot of men, because the girl that he's having an affair with, Jessie, has been doing that to her husband, which is why I cut the cord as well. It's wrong, All I can really say is that, you know, it's basically, in a nutshell, narcissism, because what he's potentially saying is that it's okay for him to treat women like this, because of his own insecurities and fear of vulnerability and things like that. So I was pretty much bullied by him in the early days, like when we first split up and everything. He got with one of my friends, Kerry, and like everyone thought it was awful, you know, because he had, you know, led me on, sent me songs saying that he loved me, and he still says that he loves me. You know, how can you love someone and get with their friends? It made me feel so undesired, so unwanted, so I guess like my opinion didn't mean anything. My needs and wants meant nothing. And the thing what hurt the most is that I begged him to stop treating me like this over and over again. I told him, you are causing me harm. You know, you are hurting me because you're using my good nature to see the best in you, to love you, and then we get to a point where we're just happy and loved up and everything, and then he will self-sabotage with another woman. And each time it broke me into pieces, like I went into fight or flight. So I would just say, I'm leaving you because it hurts too much. And it still hurts a lot. Because it wasn't just one woman, it was, oh my god, I mean, there's so many. I mean, you're looking at sort of Kerry, you're looking at Sophie, Vicky, Charlotte, Anita, Lee, Danny. I mean, the lists go on. You know, there's so many of women that he has played around with. And you know, he is a commitment phobic man. And the problem is whenever I tried to move on, he would accuse me of being a slut. So if I tried to be because obviously you cannot just love someone else straight away after, you know, loving someone so deeply and being heartbroken. This is why there is dating and things like that out there, and casual dating and things. So if I tried to date or move on, he would come back and say, I'm sorry, I love you. And then I'm right back to square one, whereby he is, you know, we get loved up for a bit and then he repeats the pattern of sabotage. Like, he doesn't, it's, and the worst thing is you can't even resolve it with him because he stonewalls you. And yet he tends to get with women that have slept around with other men behind his back. And this is what I don't understand. Like, he gets with women who treat him like shit, basically. So I don't get it. And I do. It is to do with the confidence issue. And, you know, he obviously doesn't think very highly of himself, because if he did, he wouldn't be around women like that. But he decides that, you know, and this is the problem with a lot of society, that, you know, and to be fair, you know, it's what's drilled into you these days, that, you know, people are just fucking used, and that's not who I am. If I've ever dated casually or anything, they've always known the score. I've told them the situation as well. So I've been very clear. So when I was trying to move on from JP and everything, I did date, you know, and I did that because I had to be logical about the whole thing, because he was spreading rumours about me. but then in private he'd say he loves me and all this. And he kept really sort of like, he kept saying like in a couple of years we'll settle down and all this. And so here's me thinking, yeah, that'd be amazing, you know, but the reality is he's controlled by my ex-best friend, Jessie. Jessie is married to Pete. I'm not sure if she is anymore, no idea, because when I found out about those two, well, I knew that he liked her once before because I saw him hitting on her at the Lee Circle flat. Now, from what I understand and what she told me was that she didn't like him and that he was not a man of faith and things like that. But then saying that she married a man that she said was a logical choice, and while I was friends with her, she would, you know, cheat and things like that. She had texts from his best friend. There's things that I, you know, like she went on holiday and went to a sex party and stuff and things like that, you know, like, so she wasn't an honest woman. She wasn't somebody who I would rate as a person. I'm not sitting there and saying that, you know, all through my life I've been perfect. I haven't. But I think when you reach sort of late 40s and stuff like that, you kind of have a good idea about who you are. And, you know, like you can kind of sort of, you know, when you're younger, you can kind of, you know, say, well, you know, you're young. But when you're at this age, like, come on. I think that the main problem between me and her was that she had some really deep insecurities. So when we were at Lee's party, her and Jim were in a room upstairs or whatever, and, you know, obviously he liked her and stuff, so he was hitting on her. And, you know, I said to her, dude, you know, when, like, what about Pete and stuff? And then she started making, you know, comments about, you know, how I don't have many wrinkles, and she said something that kind of offended me, which was like, black don't crack. And she kept saying very sort of like xenophobic stuff to me as well, and that was really grating on me. That it, like, I think that last year it was almost like she was competing. She kept saying if she wore like boots, oh, I'm taller than you, or this and that, and if any guy gave me attention, she would get really pissed off about it or try to intervene or something like this, you know, and it just got really annoying. Like, you're my best friend, you're not supposed to be doing that, you know. I mean, fine, like, if you're single and, you know, but she was with Pete, you know, so I don't understand why she was doing that. And then she kept saying things like, I control you, which was really weird. We went to the Bast gig, and at that gig she said to me, you're like the light, I'm like your shadow, but soon the dark will overcome the light. Which I thought was really weird. It's a really strange thing to say to your best friend, like. And I was like, and I just really didn't know what to say to it. I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, and then she kept saying things like, you can't trust me, which made me feel even more like, what the hell? What is this about? She goes, you can't trust anyone. So she made me feel really insecure about my friendships and things. Then at her hen do, like, she would try to make me try and compete with my other best friend, who was Wayne, you know, and he's like the best person, you know, and she would say things like, oh, the best musician here is Wayne, you know, like, why would you want to compete with your friends? Like, why are you putting people in that position so people, you know, it's like putting you down, you know. So there were things like that were doing my head in. It was really pissing me off, basically. And there was a lot of, you know, discussions on immigrants and things like that. And oh my God, like the xenophobia and the racism. You know, you can't be telling a friend of yours whose dad's, you know, an immigrant or whatever, and sitting there and saying that all immigrants are dangerous or criminals. I mean, it was like a Trump thing. Do you know what I mean? It was like, come on, guys. Crimes happen in different races. It's just that you don't get reported on the, Christian or Catholics that do these things. I mean, when you look at some, Facebook pages where there's a mix of races of people that commit crimes. Let's look at the stabbings with, the Sikh woman. Where was the uproar? There wasn't any. Everyone went completely mental over the Sikhs, but as soon as a Sikh's killed, nothing, like, from mainstream media. And it's only now that the Sikhs have now basically said, this is disgusting. Like, there is such an imbalance, and the problem and the reason for it is groups like BNP, KKK, the Reform Party. I'm sorry, but they are a racist party, and it is embarrassing that we have had the likes of Nat Farage that go to the EU and took us out of the EU. Why on earth is this person allowed a platform? This man is just an influencer for far-right newspapers and crypto billionaires. It is basically, a conspiracy thing that people believe that, there's a guy that I was looking at where there is actually like a network of people from around the world that are far right, that are just like fucking Hitler, that are coming together, and because they've got loads of money, paying people like Farage to spread this hate, to divide, and to create mobs and wars and things like that, and it's fucking horrible. I'm sorry, but I don't agree, and I think that I think the world is in a very perilous situation if we keep backing leaders that create divide. Okay, people that are immigrants are still people. They're still human beings. It's not us versus them. It's not Britain first. It's not. We are people. We are human beings and should be treated as such. You only have to read Shakespeare to know that you lose your humanity if you do not care about people, regardless of colour, race or orientation and things like that. I just don't understand how people think that it's okay to harm others just because of the colour of their skin. It's absolutely mental. But this is what I'm trying to say. Say if I decided to paint myself yellow and you decided to paint yourself green, and then I was like, I hate you because you're green. How does that even work? Can you see the stupidity of it? Oh, I just want to have all the yellows to just be yellow, right? That's what Reform think. And that's mental. So my relationship with Jessie was pretty much like, I lost all respect for her when she was like trying to back what Farage was saying, and then she was saying she was xenophobic, and then she's like, well, Pete's even worse, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Just because you have an Indian friend doesn't make you less prejudiced, right? You've got to be careful what you say to your friends of colour, because I'm telling you right now, it fucking hurts when you say shit like this. Because it can be, a cousin of mine that might have decided to come from India or something, let's look at this realistically. Immigration is an international thing. It's not just the UK, it's international. People have been doing that since the wars because Britain took over a lot of places around the country. A lot of people are at the moment at war with each other, so they need to find safety. If we as a human being cannot provide safety for someone in need, there is something seriously wrong with our humanity. And when I see stuff like, oh, you're spending all this money on this. Look, listen to me right now. Just say if they stopped funding and helping, asylum seekers or whatever, or do not think for a moment it's going to go back into the fucking country, that all of a sudden that all your problems will be solved. No, they won't. It will get worse if you vote Reform. I'm sorry, it's true. And I've never been sort of that political, but when I have seen the mobs, and I've seen the Sikh woman being raped because she got mistaken for Muslim, when I've seen a Sikh woman being stabbed, when I'm seeing the mobs and riots to people of colour, it has got to stop, and you need to stop being racist. And yes, you know, racism does go both ways, it does happen, but just stop it. Just stop it. I've been on the receiving end of racist bullshit from people. Anarchy, for example, you know, Aniki, or however you say her name, Aniki Lynn Dean or whatever, I don't bloody know. Talvi, that's it, Aniki Lynn Talvi. Now, let's look at someone like this who has, you know, spent her last few since 2019 literally directing hate at me and taking the piss out of me. Now look, I don't give a fuck what she thinks, but she has been warned by the police multiple times to leave me alone. They talked to her because she had put some racist content on there. So if you are a friend of hers, then you are friends with a racist, as far as I'm concerned, and you are backing racism. If you are a friend or supporting the hate page, which is against Ragebreed, where they are taking the piss out of me being a feminist. Now let's be honest here, a feminist is someone that believes in equal rights to a man, okay? There is nothing wrong with that. Let's look at the powerful women of our day, or of all the years. Let's look at people like Oprah. Let's look at people like, I don't know, Marie Curie. You know, people that have made massive changes in this world. Look at the female singers that are badass. But we will always get witch hunted by egotistical, misogynistic men and women who have done nothing with their lives. Okay, you always will get attacked with that, because these people are insecure. But I tell you that the people that aren't insecure about it are confident, powerful men, or people who are simple but just back you and just, you know, enjoy what you bring, the entertainment and stuff. They're not out to have, like, you know, an ambitious life. There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever you choose you want your life to be is absolutely fine. You don't have to compete with me. I'm not asking anyone out there to be like, oh, you have to be like me. You don't. You choose your life path. But this is one thing I will say. Do not keep bringing other people down because their life path is different. Okay, because I've had people like say to me, why don't you just stay home and make babies? How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? Like, honestly, like, it is just absurd to me that people still think this way. For one thing, I have PCOS, so I would have trouble to have children. I mean, don't get me wrong, I probably could do because I'm ovulating fine now. I lost a bit of weight and I have been ovulating normally. I'm also trying to tackle my PCOS symptoms, which apparently now is called PMOS. But yes, I have that. So, you know, I'm having to deal with those side effects and symptoms. I've had something called ovarian drilling to help bring, you know, I had a really, really severe ovarian pain when I was younger. And yeah, so I had drilling so I could, you know, have my ovulation would hopefully go back to normal as well. It didn't to begin with, but then when I lost a bit of weight, it did. So, you know, I'm constantly dealing with that. Now let's look at this situation as well. So with Jessie, when, you know, we were out once, she was sitting there and telling a man that a woman's job is only to breed and that she's done her breeding and so she's done her job. Just imagine how that feels like for someone who has PCOS. But this is what I'm saying, it's indirect put downs, you know, and that's what I had to deal with from her. Let's also talk about the fact that she said that I couldn't trust her. You know, after she had hit on someone at the party and stuff, and we'd gone back to mine after the black don't crack comment, there was also a conversation that we had, and she said literally that she was jealous of my life, that I couldn't trust anyone, and ran out crying. And I had to have a conversation with her the next day, and she said, oh, I've just been feeling a bit down in myself. And I was like, okay. But then I didn't really understand why she kept getting really competitive with me. I really didn't understand it. And then now it makes sense because she obviously had feelings for JP. And this is what now makes sense to me, because at the wedding I wasn't her maid of honour, which is weird. I was meant to be her best friend. The gay guy and the best friend, who's Indian, wasn't allowed in the main wedding. Bear in mind, the whole marriage thing. So I was just like, okay, this is fucked up. And she said it's because she wanted to be centre of attention for a change. Yeah, that was the reason. So, there was a lot of reasons. She kept comparing me and Wayne as musicians, and I was just like, well, he's a pianist, I'm a singer, so, What I don't understand is why someone would want to, pit two people together if they're best friends. Like, I don't understand. And this again comes to this competition issue that she has with me. Everything's a competition. She has to be queen bee. She has to be the pretty one. She told me I'm the pretty one. That's what she told me, out of me and her, which was like, how dare you? So what am I? She goes, you've got all the singing and everything, but I'm the pretty one. That's all I have. And I was like, well, no, that's not true. And look, I'm not one of these people that when I was friends with her, I told her straight. I said, actually, you have got a lot of great things, so you don't need to be insecure, because the truth of the matter is she's a good writer and she's a good artist. And if she focused on those things, she would, but she's afraid of judgment. There's some people in this life, the reason why they're private is because they're afraid to be judged. Whereas I'm an extrovert kind of thing. Yeah, I'm ambivert mostly. It's a very weird thing. Like, I spend most of the time in, but I do like to spend time out with friends and family. Everything's balanced, you know what I mean? I'm not afraid to go for the things that I want to do, and I don't give a shit what people think of me. I never have and never will do. I don't care what they think. The only time that I care is obviously when it comes to me and JP, because obviously that's really quite embarrassing what he's put me through, and and I felt it was important for me to speak my truth, because the thing is, with lies and fibs and gaslighting and people trying to protect their reputations, don't do it in the first place. Don't do something is wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you know something is wrong, why are you doing it? He literally is separating love and lust, basically, and he's using her. She's using him. They both are narcissists in the sense that they want to have someone there, like, as their safety net while they play, and that's pretty much what this is. I don't know whether she's still with Pete or not. I don't know, but when you're a mother, in my opinion, you shouldn't be doing shit like this. Like, your family comes first, your kids come first. I'm sorry, but they do. If you're unhappy with someone, end it with them, but don't put your kids through it, because it's like, that's one of the reasons why I've never really had children either. I have PCOS, but I didn't have a stable partnership. Do you see where I'm coming from? So I didn't just have children for the sake of having children. I would never do that, because I believe a child should be raised in a good family environment, and my life path hasn't really been, I've never been the kind of woman that has been like, oh, I can't wait to have children and stay at home. Just never been that kind of woman. Have no issue with women that have that. My best friend, Nathan and Tiffany, she likes to stay at home. She likes her child as a focus, which I really respect. So please don't get me wrong when I say this. I have no issue with women that have put their children first and decided to be a housekeeper and things like that. Not an issue, right? It doesn't make me better or worse or anything like that. We just have different life paths. And some women still, are friends with me, even though we have different life paths. They still respect me, and we can both say, oh, well, we prefer to do different things. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, but I've always been the kind of person that wants to do things. Like, I can't just be like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, Never in my whole life have I been like, oh, I want to give birth to children, if I'm honest. It's never really been a thing. The only time I've ever felt it is when me and JP was loved up, and then I was like, you know what, I would love to have that child with him. But the reality of this relationship, and when I've discussed it with, you know, therapists and things like that, and when I was at a really down point when I found out about Jessie, I went to the Samaritans and I talked about it because it really affected me. Because I felt like I was stuck. He was stuck in limbo. He wasn't making a decision. I was begging him to block her. Please don't harm me. Please don't hurt me. This is killing me. And he still does it. He still sabotages. And it's fear. He's afraid of getting close. We get close and then he sabotages. The thing is, these women don't know it because he lies to them, you know, and it's almost like he's afraid of what people think, because for some reason he seems to think that it's more macho to be a bit of a player, you know. It's because he's made friends with narc DJs that do that with women. So these women have low self-esteem and just get used, and that's it, and then that's their life. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he wants to be like that, you know, the guy who's got lots of women around him, validates his ego, that kind of thing. So to be in love with me would embarrass him and make him feel like he's vulnerable and he's not the hard man, you know, it's that kind of thing. How he treats me is probably quite similar to A Star Is Born, if you've ever watched that movie, where she's in the bathtub and she's won something and then he's like, you're embarrassing, and you know, that's how I feel, that's how he treats me. But they loved each other, but you know, he has these issues with, you know, he's an unhappy man, but it's because of fear, and fear, jealousy, hate, all those sort of things. But then I feel like I really, like when I send him messages and when we talk, I feel like he really appreciates that, and he did put songs up saying that he loved me and things like that, but then he'll sabotage it with her again, and what he doesn't get is that the more you keep doing it, it's like you're shattering my heart into tiny pieces. And he knows he's doing it, but he still won't give me the commitment. He still won't give me that, because she's got so much control over him. That's what she has done to me. It is a double betrayal. It's like, it was hurtful that he would keep stonewalling me and stuff, and giving me limited, like, you know, communication and things like that. But it was, when I found out about Jessie, it was, I can't even describe to you how that felt. That was the love of my life, with my ex-best friend, who competes with me and is obsessed with competing with me and has tried to take my life away from me. And she's got a pattern of this triangulation in the past. There is something very wrong with that. And therapists have said she's dangerous to your life, because she's obsessed with competing. She keeps trying to hit on your exes, and she dyed her hair blonde when me and her split up, which was weird. And then the next thing I know, now it's all grey, but like the next thing I know is I find out about her and JP. And you know, she's constantly trying to control him with, you know, trying to seduce him, but he doesn't have strong boundaries up. He is easily manipulated. He got easily manipulated by Danny, Lee, so many women who have messed with his head, but he doesn't listen. And then he gets hurt, and then he's like, oh, comes back to me whimpering. And I'm sick of being the safety net. I'm sick of being his safety net, because he's not a safety net for me. And I'm sick of being friends with two-faced bitches like her. You know, I'm so sick of ingenuine people. And that's the reason why I do these podcasts, because if you're ever in a situation like that, really think about your worth and what you deserve. Everything that's happened to me in terms of relationships, you know, they've been learning curves for me, because and I truly believe that sometimes life puts you in situations to teach you. And I'm learning about myself and my boundaries, and I'm learning about others and their boundaries, and I'm learning about, you know, how little people can think of you, you know, and how they can easily just trample over your heart. And it just makes me realise that there are people out there that just do not value love. You know, they value, you know, sluts, because they don't have to take any responsibility. And, you know, a lot of, you know, this kind of world that we're living in, it's like a plastic world where people just use each other and that's it. And there's no depth of connection. Like, people say they're your friend, but they treat you like you're not. And I've, you know, it's very tough for me. I mean, I get on with things, but I find it hard sometimes to express the pain that I've gone through, whether it's been people that have been close to me, or whether it's been the racism that I've had, or the sexism, or whether it's been the bullying that the hater pages use. You know, for me, I know that it's a reflection on their personality, because I've had, you know, I've done counselling training, I've done life coaching. I know theoretically all the reasons why people do what they do. And I know I threaten a lot of people because I'm a voice, and, you know, and I'm not afraid to use it. I always believe in standing up for what's right. And the thing is, so many people believe liars, and that's the problem. The problem is that there's people that have come into my life, pretended that they're sweet and innocent, and ended up being the biggest backstabbers on the planet. You know, betrayal is something that takes a long time to heal from, and it creates a lot of anxiety in people. It creates, you know, social anxiety, it creates depression. You can get PTSD from it. I still get nightmares about JP and Lee. I still get nightmares about that. I still get nightmares about him and Jessie. I literally do. And the thing is, it's because there was a repeated pattern of putting me through this, and not having any care towards how it hurt me, while still telling me he loved me. And that is what's scary, you know. And I think that, you know, it's really hard to love someone that treats you like this, and then you try to, you know, break free from it, and then he pulls you back in. And because you love him and you understand that he's got a problem with fear, you try again, you know. And that has been the issue. It's not because I'm not one of these people that can't be committed. I can, but I can't be committed to someone who's a commitment phobe and wants to get with my friends. It's, yeah, and even saying that out loud, it's embarrassing for me to even have thought that that was okay, you know. And it isn't okay, but, you know, I wanted him to change, and it's not like I was sitting there and saying this is okay. I wasn't. I was telling him what I wanted. I told him I wanted a commitment. I told him, I said, even if it's exclusive dating to begin with. But he disappointed me so many times, arranging things, not turning up, because he's worried about what she thinks. And this is my ex-best friend, guys. that's how low she is. That's how controlling she is. She's not even that bothered about him. You know, I've seen messages from other men. They've sent me screenshots, text messages, and it's what hurts the most is that she has hurt him as well, because he doesn't even see it, because she's manipulated him so much and controlled him so much. But I don't even know whether this is the universe kind of giving him his karma, if that makes sense, because she's treating him like he treated me, so not quite sure whether it's a blessing in disguise, you know, that I should move on from the situation and just accept what is. But it still keeps me awake at night because I love him so much and I miss him. But the pain is there. And he hasn't apologised, he hasn't, you know, and the thing is, I want an apology for all those women. And him telling me he loved me while he was with them. You know, even if it was just seeing them, still hurt. And that's why I tried to move on. You know, people say, oh, well, you know, you dated. Yeah, because I had no choice. He got with my friends. I had to try and move on and date. So I did try, but I just never, I couldn't stay with them because my heart was somewhere else. And that's why I stopped dating. And I just concentrated on my life and concentrated on building Ragebreed up and doing the things that made me happy. And then obviously you guys know that I got hit with this whole page and all the harassment that went along with it. I mean, I've not had an easy life at all. You know, I've overcome a lot of things like rape and domestic violence and things like that and things like this. And I don't say it for pity, I say it because I want you to know how strong I am in that sense. I'm going through symptoms of PCOS. I still have my neck condition. But, you know, it's a lot better than what it was. But I've missed out on a good relationship. I've been severely neglected by him. And I've been put last and hidden. And it counts as hidden abuse. I felt like we were getting to a good place, but again, he sabotages, and I can't control it because, like, we get to a point where we're really tight, and then she comes back, and that's it. He's hooked, and she laughs about it to other people that she's got her claws in, but then she denies it to the public. Great friend, right? Great bestie. And most of my friends got with him. So if you really want to know, that's why a lot of people from Leicester who were my friends are no longer my friends, because they got with him. And so they had to justify being with him by putting me down. And that's what they did. They all ganged up. And yeah. So I decided to put time into the things that I enjoy doing, which is Ragebreed, and the right people support me now, and I have better friendships. I have amazing family. I have a great job. I make great music. Look at the empire I'm building with Ragebreed, and I'm on a decent salary, which is like middle class salary. So you know what? Even if these things have happened, there is still so much I'm grateful for. I think one of the things that, you know, I'm finding very challenging right now is, obviously I am grateful for everything, but it's mainly accepting what's happened. I think a lot of it has been, I can't believe he would do this to me. like after everything we went through, and for the last 5 years I've not gone all the way with anyone, because of him, because I wanted to work on us. And Nottingham Victim Care also told me that it sounds like he's got some trust issues. Maybe we speak to him and let it take some time, but he's still, how can I do that while he's trying to get with my ex-best friend who we fell out? How do you navigate that? And it's so many people are like, he's abusing you, he is psychologically abusing you, he's basically saying that he won't take any responsibility and be your partner or be by your side, and you deserve that. And that's what is soul destroying, because he doesn't feel enough, and so that's why he gets with all these hoe type women, and that's it. And so he chooses casual bonds, while living me from a distance, and that's what is so sad about the whole thing. And it's the fact that he will deny it, and that's what hurts the most. I think it's one thing saying, it's the fact that he's hidden it. It's the fact that I feel so unappreciated and unloved and cared for, yet he says that he loves me, and it's like, well, you're not showing it. And as a friend told me a few years back, actions speak louder than words. And I honestly understand the frustration from friends who have told me this over and again, that he's bad news and you deserve better and things like that. And I get it, and logically I get it, and it's but my heart is right now is broken into a lot of pieces, and I'm trying to navigate that at the moment. I'm trying to find a way through it, and what's helping me is Lake of Dreams, because I can put that story into a film in so many characters that have hurt me or whatever. I can it's kind of like a very healing process with art, because you can put your own experiences into fantasy and change it up a little bit and put it into a completely different universe, and that is my healing, my creativity, the good people around me, the people that care matter. They care, like that. And this is the thing, when bad people put nasty things and untrue things about yourself. I mean, recently you may have seen that with Christina, where she's put fibs up and things about me as well. Those emails are fake. But this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you make friends with people, they stab you in the back. And I'm not saying all women do this. They don't. You just have to be very selective on who you bring into your life. And the way I see it, I am myself, and I judge people on how they react to me. So if they're happy for me and they support me, you're a cool person, and I will always support my friends. I have no reason to compete. But there's some boundaries that I've had with promoters that I won't work with, because they caused so much hate in the scene and created division and competition, and so I don't think I will ever be able to forgive them, if I'm honest, for what they've put me through. And I'll quite happily mention who they are. That I will never work with resin events, I will never work with torturous promotions or snapmare promotions ever again. And I will never attend a uprising festival ever again, because of the lies that were told, and the gang up towards me when I was doing exactly the same thing as the promoters do. But this is what I mean. You get one person who has betrayed you, or you get one person that is jealous, or a guy that can't be with you gets it on, like Thrax, for example, and ask people to choose a side because I won't be with them. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's nothing. When people say it's nothing personal, it usually is. Because if a promoter is trying to ask you to choose sides, like what they were doing, if you considered me a friend, then why the hell are you allowing that to happen? It's as much fault as the people that do what they ask. Because I've noticed that bands that wanted to work with me, all of a sudden, it was like they'll get promised something from them, but the condition was not to support me, and that's called obstruction of business. So for me, that's also a problem. Like I've had, like so many friends of mine have come to me and said it. Even the venue said, "Oh, well, you can't really let another promoter." And I was like, "Why?" Well, because they've said that it's got to be exclusive to them. This is the problem. This is called gatekeeping, and that is a problem within the Leicester metal scene. So, as far as I'm concerned, I will support the venues and the promoters that support me. I will do everything in my power to big you guys up, but I will not work with people that are bullies and treat me differently, because I feel like I have been treated differently, and I do think it's discrimination. And it's competition as well. The hate pages are far right. They are sexist. So I don't need to win their approval. I will never need to win approval of a racist, of a sexist, of a bully, because they're cowards. And as far as I'm aware, and as far, I don't need validation. I'm happy with the people that support me. I'm happy with the bands and the labels and the PR companies that support me. And, and that's it really, and thank you all for who have stood by me while I've gone through such turmoil in my life. I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting all my bands on the label. And thanks for supporting my Naps and Naked Dreams. And, really means a lot to me. And like I say, we won a Global Recognition Award. We won, some awards for Midlands Enterprise Awards, UK Enterprise Awards. I'm good. I don't need to validate anything. I'm not interested in smear campaigns. I'm not interested in bullies or racists or sexist. I just want to be around the right people and everyone support each other. That's pretty much it. So that's where I'm at the moment. Because my mental health comes first. Not cheaters, not abusers. You need to sort your own shit out. Don't come crying to me unless you say, I want to work with you, I want to improve my life coach me, then fine. Go on the website, ragebreed.bigcartel.com. Send me, pay for a session and we'll start work. But I don't have time to be dealing with people like that. So as far as I'm concerned, I do these podcasts to put you in the know. So, you can hear it from both sides because they pretty much put everything public. So this is my response in self-defense. And this is my story. Thank you and take care. You've been listening to Ragebreed Against Bullying. My name is Karina Sher.